I'm Britt. Thanks for joining me as we take a look at your work week forecast for January 27th through the 31st. And yeah, last week in January, we are continuing to have kind of quiet, although this week will be kind of active weather-wise, but nothing significant. There's a lot to talk about, but nothing large-scale going on. We continue with our relatively cold weather, seasonably cold. There's going to be a couple cold days. Some days that are not as cold. This will not be as cold a week as we have had, but definitely still mostly below freezing. And then we are still kind of due a pattern shift. The models have been hinting at it for a while. It continues to not happen. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on kind of in the big picture as well, because that's going to affect how the week unfolds. So there's basically three systems to worry about, and we can't see all of them in satellite, but here's our first one. This is going to affect us mostly tonight with some snow showers, some squalls. Not really much that amounts to anything. I mean, an inch is definitely possible, particularly western-facing slopes. It could be, it's one of those mornings they'll probably be out salting tomorrow morning, but not anything overly concerning. But definitely could be, we've had a lot of these this winter. It's kind of a clipper-like system. There's not a lot of moisture associated with it. There is some clouds. And actually, we have a system that's going to come through like Tuesday night. Going to be somewhat similar to this. It's way up in northern Canada. We'll look at it on the upper level map. But you can actually see a system that may impact us on Friday on the map, or at least part of it. And that is the system that's currently impacting Southern California with a little bit of rain, which has been good for them in some ways. Although certainly one of the things that happens right after fire is often if you get rain, especially too much rain, you're very susceptible to mudslides. So yeah. Difficult out there. Can't really. They need the rain. They really need the rain. But also it has the potential to cause issues. You know, they're just kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place there. We're going to talk about two other thing you can definitely see here is we have a very kind of active subtropical jet stream or southern jet stream here, and also a very active northern jet stream. But they are very disconnected. We have split flow. That's when you have kind of flow to the north, and it's way to the north. You can't even see it across kind of western North America. And then a subtropical jet that's way to the south across Mexico. And this actually looks almost more like an El Nino kind of pattern here that we're currently in with the subtropical jet stream. But even though we are in La Nina, so it's not an El Nino pattern, but just this active southern jet, until they kind of get going together, it has this dampening effect on exactly how strong a system we can get in our area. And that's why we haven't really had any big storms. In fact, last week, the northern jet stream, as it really pushed far south, interacted and did sort of interact with the southern jet stream, and it created, except it created the storm kind of where the southern jet stream has been, which is why the Gulf Coast got all the snow last week, and we did not. So yeah, that's kind of the pattern. And until this kind of until we kind of figure our way out of this, whatever the next thing is going to be, for now we're not in a pattern really conducive to significant storm development. You can always find a way in any pattern almost to get things to line up perfectly, but this is the kind of setup where you're not likely to see anything. Possible always almost, but not the kind of system where you expect anything exciting in terms of significant storms to happen. However, like I said, there is some weak systems. Again, this is a little overblown. Like I said, dusting to about an inch of snow is basically what we're looking for tonight. Maybe a little bit more out of the next system. Wouldn't be surprised if some of the upslope snow spots get 2 or 3 inches of snow. Not really where anybody lives, but if you're driving over the mountains, or if you're like hoping to get a little fresh snow on the ski areas, that could help. That's kind of a system that starts Tuesday evening and kind of runs through Wednesday with a chance of flurries the whole time. Again, not a huge system. We'll take a look at those, as a closer look at both of those. And then it's a question of what exactly happens with the evolution of this storm. Is it wintry mix? Do we get a little bit of light snow out of it? Does it go out to sea south of us? All of those are very much possible. Does it connect at all with an upper level with a northern jet stream? None of that, unfortunately, is really figured out model-wise. So if we look at the upper level, here's the energy for the system that's coming through tonight. Here is kind of both the bigger upper level low that is kind of the main source of what's pushing the northern jet stream south there, but also you can see in this kind of narrow band, that's a short wave that's come over the top of this ridge in the northern jet stream that is heading, it's going to head south, and it will kind of bring another clipper type of system. What happens with this system is it slowly meanders across the country, and then eventually does start to pick up some Gulf moisture and become a bit more organized. But exactly how the northern jet stream interacts with it, right now it looks mostly like it's going to push it out to sea. Once again, we do not have a ridge over the North Atlantic, which means it's very hard to do anything with a system that develops along the coast except suck it out to sea. So there is that's probably the most likely scenario for this. In those situations, we can sometimes get a little bit of light precipitation. Depending on exactly where that's set up would depend on whether we got snow or wintry mix or even rain. Models have kind of, like I said, been kind of all over the place with it. There's a smaller chance that we build a little bit of a ridge offshore and we actually get a bigger storm, but that seems pretty unlikely at this point. Eventually, that probably is going to happen. Basically, the models kind of want to keep repeating this setup and keep about a week and a half out. They keep predicting that there's a chance for a storm to all kind of come together. That is probably likely to happen at some point, but it's probably the last 3 weeks there's been that thought that might happen, and it has yet to. So that's why we've continued kind of just to rinse, wash, and repeat with the pattern. Let's take a look at just kind of an idea of what radar, before we get to the actual forecast, what radar looks like. This is kind of a 48-hour model, kind of showing you what the next 2 days are. You can see here's our system that's coming through tonight. You can see mostly kind of light snow showers. There's a bit of a squall line there. It comes through overnight with us, so we don't get as much of a chance of some like heavier snow squalls with it, and just a little bit of snow. And then you can see we kind of get a little different, but a similar kind of system that moves west to east. This system, because of the way it's going to pick up moisture off the Gulf, gives us a little bit better chance, and it's going to stick around a little bit longer to giving us a little bit more actual snow in the upslope spots. So the spots that have been getting snow over the last month, more than just like an inch at a time, those are the spots that could get an inch or two of snow out of this next system as well. But again, nothing too significant. Let's take a quick look at what the actual forecast looks like. So yeah. Today, relatively nice out there today. We're going to see decent amount of sun, especially this morning. We will cloud up this afternoon. Flurries hold off till probably about after this evening sometime. And again, nothing too exciting with the flurries. Temperatures fall back just a few degrees with the clouds tonight. Tomorrow, after the front moves through, it does get colder. That's an Arctic front that's bringing that with it. So we'll start off in the upper 20s, and throughout the day we'll kind of be losing degrees as we go. We'll be cloudy. Possibly you could see a peak of sun tomorrow, but basically cloudy. And then we get a longer period with this next system that moves through with a chance for those flurries, right? First we have the system that moves through, and then a little bit of lake enhancement. That's overblown in terms of exactly how much snow. Again, maybe an inch. For most of us, maybe an inch and a half. 2 or 3, 4 inches is not wouldn't be surprising in for the ski areas, the western facing slopes, things like that. But nothing that's going to cause real significant travel headaches or anything like that, unless you happen to be driving over the mountains. In that case, you just have to kind of be aware that there could be it could be slick in a few spots. Thursday is a cold day as we get another reinforcing shot of cold air. We start off Thursday morning. Temperatures could be below zero. It depends on if it clears out or not. If it clears out, we could be quite cold Thursday morning. 5 to 10 below zero would be possible if we got clear weather, but I think we won't, and I think we'll stay right around zero on Thursday, and then we warm up into the teens. And then Friday's the big question: what happens with that system at the end of the week? We don't really know yet, but basically wintry mix, temperatures around freezing, and very uncertain as to exactly how that's going to play out. We're just going to have to wait and see on that one. Let's take a quick look at those work week highlights. An active weather week, but no high impact events. Some flurries and snow squalls tonight. Tuesday night through Wednesday brings another period of flurries and light snow. The Tuesday night snow could bring light accumulations to western facing slopes, as I talked about before, and a period of snow or mixed precipitation is possible Friday evening that could last into Saturday. Lots of uncertainty, nothing I'd be too worried about yet, and nothing that I think the models are even close to really being able to navigate through. At this point, we're probably looking at Wednesday before we can determine any of the accuracy on that. All right, I do want to give a quick shout out to my patrons. They help support what I do here at the West River Weather Guy. They are a huge help. I will be back on Friday with an updated look at the work week forecast. If the system Friday starts to look a little more interesting, there's a possibility I'd be back on Thursday with an update, but otherwise it'll be Friday. By then we should have a pretty good idea, definitely, of what's going to happen with the Friday storm. And the pattern, like I said, the models keep hinting that it wants to change, but it hasn't yet, so we're kind of in a wait-and-see mode. We'll have to wait and see if we actually do get a pattern change and what it becomes if we do. All right, thanks for supporting the channel. I'll be back on Friday morning.